Equatorial Regions. Equatorial Regions, the land of dense forest. We already learned about how latitudes affect the climate of the region in our previous chapters. Today we are looking about the area that lies just between about 10 degrees north of the equator and moving down to about 10 degrees south of the equator. These areas are called Equatorial Regions and they experience equatorial climates. Equatorial climates include high temperatures with heavy rainfall, and with the absence of any season, it makes these areas hot and wet throughout the year. The regions with the equatorial climates cover the continents of South America, Africa, and Asia. Some countries lying in the equatorial zones include Ecuador, Colombia, Brazil in South America. From Africa, we have Ghana, the Ivory Coast, Zaire, and then we have Malaysia, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, and some parts of India from Asia. Click on the topic you want to learn about. Click on the icon to start learning. Climate. Being in the equatorial regions, these regions receive almost direct rays of the sun throughout the year. Due to this intense heating, the water evaporates very fast from the water bodies and this forms dense clouds. By early evening, say like 4 p.m., the clouds become saturated with water, and this comes down as heavy rainfall, often accompanied by thunderstorms. Vegetation. The trees in the equatorial forest are tall, hard, and evergreen. Since equatorial areas do not have different climates, there is no fixed time for trees to shed their leaves, hence the forests are always green. The trees have a distinct layer arrangement and form a canopy. The ground is also covered with undergrowth. The common trees found in these forests are mahogany, ebony, rosewood, cinchona, and rubber. Wildlife. The equatorial forests are the natural home to animals that live on trees. We have monkeys, gorillas, chimpanzees, lots of exotic butterflies and birds. Among the aquatic animals, we have snakes, crocodiles, and turtles are found here. Human life. Regions in the equatorial regions are not very densely populated. Nomadic and tribal people inhabit these regions. They practice a primitive type of farming. The Pygmies live in Zaire, the Semengs in Malaysia, and the Cubus in Sumatra. They make clearings in the forest and grow crops on this land for 2 to 3 years before shifting to a new area. This type of farming is called shifting agriculture. During the colonial rule, the Europeans introduced plantation agriculture, where the forests were cleared and agricultural plantations were established. Some of the plantations that were started were the cocoa plantations in Ghana and Ivory Coast, tea plantation in Sri Lanka, rubber plantation in Malaysia, and coffee plantations in India. Summary. We have been exploring the equatorial zones and we have discovered so much. It brings us to a realization that our world has been really beautifully created. Let's respect our resources and look after it. Keep discovering about this wonderful home called the Earth. So keep learning.